Kids believe in the Easter Bunny. Eventually they get older and they stop believing in Mr. Rabbit. Why? Because it becomes painfully obvious there is no such thing. Adults are not so systematic and concrete about their belief system. Adults quite often, more often than not, have a belief system, a belief structure that leads to violence and or division or some reasonable facsimile. And guess what? They try harder. It's not working because it's violent and leads to division. We all know about the Bible Belt. We all know about the Middle East. We all know of all of this organized religion in this world. Northern Ireland is another example at times. And this organized religion leads to violence and division. How could a positive belief system lead to people being hurt and torn apart? It cannot. Adults don't seem to have the same capacity as kids to get rid of their proverbial Easter bunny. Developing a belief system. How do you do it? 5 steps here, 5 dynamics. Firstly, you have a belief. Everybody has one. That's just the way it is. Secondly, why is it there? See, you have to question it. Why is it there? Is it inherited? Because if it's inherited, you should really question it, because that's a heck of a lot of responsibility to put on other people. Them telling you something that defines your life, and you just have to believe it? That's ridiculous. Why is it there? Inherited? As an overcompensation? You go to most churches that are hardcore fundamentalists, you will realize that right below the surface there's a lot, for example, of sexual perversion. Every reaction has an equal and opposite reaction, and quite often people use religions to hide behind. And thirdly, is it meeting some neurotic need? Maybe your parents didn't love you, so the pastor of your church or whatever is up there controlling you and manipulating you, and you kind of like it because it is a familiar dynamic to your life. So we have a belief system. Secondly, question, why is it there? Thirdly, test it. Does it lead to health? Are you better off for it? God knows how many parents have hurt their kids, have disowned their kids because their kids join another religion. You got to question not the child's religion, but the adult's religion. This is not good. Fourthly, what are the fruits of your belief system? Does it lead to healthy relationships? Does it lead to a healthy and good, wholesome sex life? What do you think about when you masturbate? There's all these people right now running around the United States saying masturbation is a sin. Well, if masturbation is a sin, breathing air is a sin, because it's essentially the same thing. Just one accentuates who you are down deep inside. If you have a pure heart and a good heart and a loving heart, then masturbation, that's the way it will be. If you're dark and disturbed, that's the way your masturbation will be. So guess what? You really have to consider the person's saying this, because I think it says more about them than it does about masturbation. So we have relationships, we have sexuality, and we have life's fulfillment. Does it give you joy? Is it positive? Does it help you to love people? And fifthly, finally, what we do once we wonder why our belief system is there and we test it and we discern the fruits, then we either cultivate it if we find that it passes the test, or we get rid of it, one or the other. Don't let dynamics like it's been in the family for 10 gazillion years get in the way. Either something is good or something is bad. Either something is helping you grow or something's tearing you apart. These things have to be discerned and looked upon. Have the humility not to justify. And if you only have 2 years left, don't say to yourself, well, I've believed this all my life, so I better finish out this way. Because you don't know what could happen in those 2 years. This is the Love Guru telling you to look at what you believe and figure out if it is indeed worthwhile.